Ladies and gentlemen, trust is not something you can demand. It is not something you can buy. Trust is something you earn. It is something that grows over time, built through consistency, integrity, and a willingness to put others before yourself. Think about the people in your life whom you trust the most. Maybe it's a close friend, a mentor, or a family member. What is it about them that makes you feel safe? What is it that makes you believe in them, listen to them, and follow their guidance? It's not because they are the smartest person in the room. It's not because they have all the answers. It's because they have shown you time and time again that they care. In organizations, trust is the foundation of strong teams. Without it, people hold back. They hesitate to speak up. They hide mistakes. And when people don't feel safe, they stop giving their best. They stop collaborating. They become more focused on self-preservation than on the success of the team. And when that happens, performance declines. Leaders who fail to build trust create environments filled with fear and uncertainty. But leaders who understand the power of trust create teams that thrive, innovate, and succeed together. The mistake many leaders make is thinking that trust comes from authority, that if they have the title, the position, or the power, people will trust them. But that's not how it works. Trust is built through actions, not words. Through showing up, not just when things are easy, but especially when things are hard. Through listening, not to respond, but to understand. One of the most powerful ways to build trust is through vulnerability. People don't trust those who pretend to be perfect. They trust those who are honest about their struggles, who admit when they don't know something, who ask for help when they need it. When leaders are willing to say, I don't have all the answers, or I made a mistake, it sends a powerful message. It tells people that it's okay to be human. And when people feel safe being human, they give more, they connect more, and they trust more. Trust also requires consistency. Imagine a friend who is kind to you one day and ignores you the next. A leader who supports you when things are going well but disappears when challenges arise. That's not trust. That's uncertainty. And uncertainty kills relationships. People trust those who show up the same way day after day. Those who keep their promises, who do what they say they will do, who are reliable and dependable even when no one is watching. Trust is built in the small moments. It's built in the way we treat people when we don't need anything from them. It's built in the way we respond when someone makes a mistake. It's built in the way we lift others up instead of tearing them down. It's easy to say that trust matters, but what truly matters is how we live it. It's how we show up for others, how we lead, how we listen, and how we prove through our actions that we are worthy of trust. It is built over time through consistency, integrity, and genuine care for others. Without trust, people hold back, fear speaking up, and prioritize self-preservation over teamwork. Admitting mistakes, asking for help, and showing authenticity make others feel safe and connected. Trust is built through reliable actions, keeping promises, and showing up the same way every day. The way we treat others when we don't need anything from them determines whether we are truly worthy of trust. Trust is one of the most valuable things we can have in our relationships, whether in leadership, friendships, or business. But trust is not something that can be demanded or expected. It is something that must be earned. It takes time, effort, and a consistent demonstration of integrity and reliability. Think about the people you trust most in your life. They are not necessarily the ones with the most impressive credentials, the highest status, or the most persuasive words. They are the ones who have consistently shown up for you. The ones who have proven time and time again that their words align with their actions. The ones who do what they say they will do, not just once, but repeatedly over time. Trust is not given freely because trust requires proof. It is built through experience. When someone makes a promise and follows through, we begin to believe in them. When they do it again and again, that belief strengthens. But if someone makes a promise and breaks it, even just once, doubt begins to creep in. If it happens repeatedly, trust is shattered. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that trust can be established quickly. They believe that a single grand gesture, a heartfelt speech, or a strong first impression is enough. But trust is not built in a moment. It is built in the moments that follow. It is built in the quiet, uncelebrated actions of everyday life. It is built in the times when no one is watching, when there is no immediate reward for doing the right thing, and when choices are made that put integrity over convenience. People do not trust words alone, they trust patterns. A leader who speaks about honesty but avoids accountability will never earn trust. A friend who apologizes but continues to make the same mistakes will never earn trust. A company that promises customer satisfaction but fails to deliver quality service will never earn trust. Because trust is not about what is said, it is about what is done again and again. The challenge with trust is that it takes a long time to build but can be lost in an instant. A single broken promise, a single moment of dishonesty, or a single act of betrayal can undo years of trust building. That is why trust is such a delicate thing. It requires constant care, attention, and effort. It requires an unwavering commitment to doing what is right even when it is difficult. Earning trust also requires a willingness to be honest, even when the truth is uncomfortable. People do not trust those who always tell them what they want to hear. They trust those who speak with honesty, even when it is difficult. Because honesty, even when painful, is a sign of respect. It shows that the relationship matters more than temporary discomfort. Trust is also built through vulnerability. People trust those who are real, not those who pretend to be perfect. A leader who admits when they don't have all the answers earns more trust than one who pretends to know everything. A friend who acknowledges their mistakes earns more trust than one who refuses to take responsibility. Vulnerability creates connection, and connection builds trust. There is no shortcut to trust. It cannot be forced, it cannot be rushed, it must be earned, one action at a time. It is built through consistency, honesty, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to doing what is right, even when no one is watching. Trust is the foundation of every successful team. Without trust, people hesitate. They hold back their thoughts, second-guess their ideas, and avoid difficult conversations. They worry more about protecting themselves than about contributing to the group. When trust is missing, teams become fragile. People operate in survival mode, afraid of making mistakes, afraid of looking weak, and afraid of being judged. In an environment without trust, people do the bare minimum. They hesitate to speak up in meetings even when they have great ideas. They avoid asking questions even when they need help. They stay silent about problems until they become too big to ignore. Instead of focusing on solving challenges together, they focus on protecting themselves from blame. Teams that lack trust are filled with uncertainty. When people don't trust each other, they assume the worst. If someone makes a mistake, others assume it was intentional. If a decision is made, people wonder if there was a hidden agenda. If a leader gives feedback, employees question whether it is truly meant to help them or just another way to exert control. Without trust, every interaction is clouded with suspicion. Trust allows people to feel safe. When people trust their teammates, they are willing to take risks. They are willing to share bold ideas, challenge the status quo, and innovate. They know that if they fail, their team will support them, not shame them. They understand that mistakes are opportunities for growth, not reasons for punishment. This psychological safety is what allows teams to reach their full potential. Now, strong teams are built on open communication. Trust enables people to be honest with one another even when the conversations are uncomfortable. It allows teammates to give and receive feedback without fear. In a trusting team, people do not hide their concerns or sugarcoat the truth. They address issues directly, knowing that everyone is working toward the same goal. When trust exists, people listen to each other, respect different opinions, and find solutions together. Trust also creates accountability. When people trust each other, they hold themselves to a higher standard, not because they fear punishment, but because they do not want to let the team down. They take ownership of their responsibilities, follow through on commitments, and step up when needed. A team built on trust does not need constant supervision. People do the right thing because they care, not because they are being watched. Leaders play a crucial role in building trust within a team. A leader who does not trust their employees creates a culture of micromanagement, where every decision must be approved and every action must be justified. This lack of trust stifles creativity, slows down progress, and frustrates employees. But a leader who trusts their team gives them the freedom to take initiative, make decisions, and grow. That trust empowers people to do their best work. Building trust takes time and it requires consistency. It is not enough to say we trust each other. Trust must be demonstrated through actions, through showing up for one another, through following through on promises. It is built in the small moments, the way teammates support each other during difficult times, the way they celebrate each other's successes, the way they communicate openly and honestly, even when it is hard. When trust is strong, teams become unstoppable. They collaborate effortlessly, move faster, and achieve more than any individual ever could. They know they can rely on each other, which allows them to focus on the work that matters rather than wasting energy on doubt and fear. They are resilient in the face of challenges because they face them together. Trust is not just a nice thing to have, it is the very thing that makes a team work. Vulnerability is often misunderstood. Many people believe that to be strong, they must always appear confident, always have the answers, and never show weakness. But real strength comes from honesty, and honesty requires vulnerability. People do not trust those who pretend to be perfect. They trust those who are real, those who admit their flaws, those who acknowledge their struggles, and those who are willing to say, I don't know. In any relationship, whether it's in leadership, friendship, or teamwork, trust is built when people feel safe being themselves. When a leader pretends to be invincible, their team feels pressure to do the same. They hide their concerns, suppress their doubts, and avoid speaking up about problems. But when a leader is open about challenges, admits mistakes, and asks for help, it creates an environment where others feel safe doing the same. No one trusts perfection because perfection is not real. Everyone struggles, everyone makes mistakes, everyone faces doubt at some point. The more someone tries to hide their imperfections, the more distant they seem. But when someone is honest about their experiences, it creates connection, it makes others feel understood, it makes them feel safe. Vulnerability is not weakness. It does not mean oversharing or seeking pity. It means having the courage to be honest. It means saying, I made a mistake instead of making excuses. It means asking, can you help me instead of pretending to have it all under control? It means listening when someone gives feedback rather than getting defensive. It means admitting when something is hard instead of pretending everything is easy. When people are vulnerable, they allow others to see them as they truly are. And when others see that, they feel more comfortable being themselves. This creates a culture of openness where people do not have to waste energy pretending, where they can focus on growth instead of maintaining an illusion of perfection. In teams, vulnerability leads to trust because it creates honesty. When people are not afraid to admit mistakes, issues can be addressed before they become bigger problems. When people are not afraid to ask questions, they learn faster. When people are not afraid to say, I need help, they receive support instead of struggling in silence. Trust is a two-way street. If one person refuses to be vulnerable, others will hesitate as well. But when one person steps forward and shows honesty, it encourages others to do the same. This is why leaders must set the example. When a leader admits, I was wrong, it gives their team permission to be honest. When a leader says, I don't have all the answers, but let's figure it out together, it creates a sense of unity. When a leader listens to feedback and acknowledges areas for improvement, it shows that growth is more important than ego. People trust those who are real. They trust those who show up authentically, who do not hide behind a mask of perfection, and who are willing to be open, even when it's uncomfortable. Vulnerability is the foundation of deep, meaningful trust because it allows people to connect on a human level without fear, without pretense, and without the pressure to be anything other than themselves. Trust is not built through big promises or grand gestures. It is built through consistency, through small, repeated actions that prove reliability over time. People do not trust words alone. They trust pattern. They watch how someone behaves, not just once, but over and over again. If someone follows through on their commitments consistently, trust strengthens. If they break their promises, even occasionally, trust weakens. Imagine a leader who encourages their team one day but ignores them the next. Imagine a friend who is supportive in good times but disappears when things get tough. Imagine a business that delivers great service once but fails to do so the next time. Inconsistency creates uncertainty, and uncertainty erodes trust. People need to know what to expect from those they rely on. When a leader consistently listens, supports, and values their team, the team learns to trust them. When a person consistently treats others with kindness, respect, and honesty, they earn trust. But when actions are unpredictable, when someone is helpful one moment and dismissive the next, people hesitate. They hold back. They wonder which version of that person they will get today. And that doubt weakens relationships. Trust is built in the small moments, in the everyday interactions that seem insignificant but matter more than anything. It's built when someone keeps their word, no matter how small the promise. It's built when someone consistently shows up, even when there's no immediate reward. It's built when someone proves again and again that they are dependable. One of the greatest tests of consistency is how people behave when no one is watching. It is easy to act trustworthy when there are consequences. But true integrity is shown when there is no pressure to do the right thing, when someone follows through simply because they believe it matters. Trustworthy people do not act differently based on who is around. They are the same no matter the situation, no matter the audience. Consistency is not about perfection. No one is perfect and mistakes will happen, but what matters is how those mistakes are handled. Trust is not broken by failure alone. It is broken by a lack of accountability. When someone makes a mistake but owns it, apologizes, and makes it right, trust remains intact. But when someone makes excuses, avoids responsibility, or tries to cover up the mistake, trust begins to fade. People trust those who are steady, those who are reliable, those who do not change based on convenience. Trust is built when actions align with words, when values are not just spoken but lived, and when people know without a doubt that they can count on someone not just today, but every day. Trust is not built in a single defining moment. It is built in the small, everyday moments that often go unnoticed. It is built in the way we treat others when no one is looking, in the way we respond to people when we have nothing to gain, and in the way we handle difficult situations when the easy way out is tempting. People pay attention to the little things. They notice when someone remembers their name, when someone listens without interrupting, when someone follows through on a promise, no matter how small. These moments may seem insignificant, but over time they create a pattern of reliability, and that pattern is what determines whether or not trust exists. When trust is present, people feel safe, they feel valued, they feel like they belong. But trust does not happen overnight. It requires effort, consistency, and a commitment to doing the right thing, even when it is inconvenient. It is built in the way we respond to mistakes, our own and others. When someone makes a mistake, how we react tells them whether they can trust us. If we respond with patience and understanding, they learn that they can be honest with us. If we react with anger or judgment, they learn to hide the truth. Trust is built when we keep our word. It is easy to make promises, but trust comes from keeping them. It comes from doing what we said we would do, even when no one is holding us accountable. When we cancel plans at the last minute, when we say we will call and don't, when we commit to something and fail to follow through, it may not seem like a big deal in the moment, but over time, these small actions add up. They tell people whether or not we are dependable. People also build trust by showing up when it matters most, in times of crisis, in moments of uncertainty, in the difficult conversations that others avoid. Trust is built when we stand by someone, when we listen without judgment, when we offer help without expecting anything in return. It is easy to be there for people when things are going well, but real trust is built in the moments of struggle. Trust is also built through respect, the way we speak to people, the way we treat them when they disagree with us, the way we handle difficult conversations. These things reveal our character. If we dismiss people's feelings, if we talk over them, if we make them feel unimportant, we weaken trust. But when we listen, when we acknowledge different perspectives, when we treat people with kindness, even when we disagree, we strengthen it. The little things matter more than we realize. A kind word, a simple check-in, a moment of honesty, these things shape the way people see us. Trust is not about big speeches or dramatic gestures. It is about the consistent, everyday choices we make. And the more we choose integrity, reliability, and kindness in the small moments, the stronger trust becomes. Trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship, whether in leadership, business, or personal connections. It is not something that can be demanded or assumed. It must be earned through actions, reinforced through consistency, and nurtured through vulnerability. It is fragile, taking time to build and only moments to break, yet when it is present, it creates a sense of security, loyalty, and belonging that cannot be replicated by authority or status. People trust those who prove themselves trustworthy over time. They trust those who show up consistently, not just in the big moments, but in the small ones. They trust those who listen, who keep their word, who treat others with respect regardless of the situation. Trust is built in the way people respond when things go wrong. It is built in the way they treat others when they have nothing to gain. It is built in the moments when doing the right thing is the harder choice. It is easy to talk about trust. It is easy to say that it matters. But what truly defines a person's character, a leader's influence, or a team's strength is whether trust is lived out in daily actions. It is in the leader who admits they don't have all the answers, the friend who keeps a confidence, the colleague who takes responsibility instead of placing blame. It is in the way people respond to mistakes with patience rather than judgment, with accountability rather than excuse. Trust is not built on perfection. No one is perfect, everyone makes mistakes, and everyone has moments of failure. But trust is strengthened when people take responsibility for those mistakes, when they are honest about their failures, and when they work to make things right. It is not about never falling short, it is about how people respond when they do. Strong relationships, successful teams, and inspiring leaders all have one thing in common: trust. It is what allows people to take risks, to speak openly, to share ideas, and to grow together. Without it, people hesitate, hold back, and protect themselves rather than contribute fully. But when trust exists, people lean in. They collaborate, they give their best, not because they are required to, but because they want to. There is no shortcut to trust. It cannot be forced or rushed. It must be cultivated, protected, and honored every single day. It is the small moments, the daily choices, and the unwavering commitment to honesty and integrity that determine whether or not trust will thrive. And when trust is strong, everything else, leadership, teamwork, relationships, become stronger because of it.